तिमिरन्दश्च ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागजातं सहगदा ललिता श्री रघुनाथाविदां तं श्रीजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी परमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भक्ति नष्टि। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Okay, over to you, Madhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for joining today in spite of your busy schedule. Please accept our humble obeisances on behalf of everybody who have joined the group and are about to join. Prabhuji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 9. Chapter 9 is Answers by Citing the Lord's Version. And today we are on text 24. So over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So you know this verse is very, very important. And if you see this word, the word tapasa, which means austerity, has been cited 3 times. Sajjami tapashaiva vedam krashyami tapasa puna vibarmi tapasa vishwam viryame duscharam tapa. Okay. I create this cosmos by such penance. I maintain it by the same energy, and I withdraw it all by the same energy. Therefore, the potency is penance only. You can read the purport, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In executing penance, one must be determined to return home, back to Godhead, and one must decide to undergo all types of tribulations for that end. Even for material prosperity, name, and fame, one has to undergo several types of penance. Otherwise, no one can become an important figure in this material world. Why, then, are there several types of penance for the perfection of devotional service? An easy-going life and attainment of perfection is transcendental realization cannot go together. The Lord is more clever than any living entity. Therefore, he wants to see how painstaking the devotee is in devotional service. The order is received from the Lord, either directly or through bona fide spiritual master, and to execute that order, however painstaking, is the severe type of penance. One who follows the principle rigidly is sure to achieve success in attaining the Lord's mercy. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So the secret of this verse is that if you perform devotional service with austerity, then you're actually attracting mercy of the Lord, and you'll get it. There is no success in this world without austerity. Now let's go to the point Sri Prabhupada is explaining. While performing penance, one must be determined to go back back to Krishna. And one should be ready to accept all kinds of tribulations. This is the first thing Sri Prabhupada says. That if you want to achieve something, even in the material world or even in the spiritual world, or in our spiritual life, austerity is a must. What is austerity? Austerity means giving a voluntary pain to the body. Some pain is to be given to the body so that our senses remain in control. That is the reason, not otherwise. So in order to control the senses, we perform austerities. For example, we do vows like Ekadashi. Ekadashi Vrat, fasting on the appearance day of our Guru or the Acharyas, half day, then appearance on the Lord's appearances day, like Gaur Purnima, then Ram Navami, Janmashtami, and so on. Austerity keeps us focused on the point. Otherwise, without sense control or without tapa, to reach the goal will take very, very long. Sri Prabhupada has already mentioned in the purport, I can read that line, that two things cannot go together. In an easygoing life and an attainment of perfection in transcendental realization cannot go together. So, austerity is a must. And throughout Bhagavatam, austerity has been mentioned many, many times because it strengthens our devotional service. Now, the same principle is applicable to attain success even in the material world. If someone wants something or wants some name, fame, recognition, then tapa is a must. So why not for devotional service? Devotional service, there has to be penance. Like the penance we have in our day life is like waking up very early. Common people don't like wake up early in the morning. But devotees wake up quite early in the morning, around 3:30. And that is the penance. Now, if you go to Bhagavad Gita, very nicely explained. If you go to the 17th chapter, where Krishna explains austerity to Arjuna. There are all different kinds of austerities. Austerity of the body, austerity of the tongue, austerity of the mind, and so on. So let's read the austerity, at least of the body. It says, an austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord. Austerity does not mean you don't worship the Lord. You have to worship the Lord. The Brahmanas. Brahmanas means learned people who are in the mode of goodness. Spiritual master, who is the authority. Superiors like father and mother. And in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. This is called austerity. Many people think that I'll just do fasting and my austerity is complete. No. Austerity of the body has many, many things, and you should follow them. And if you read the purport, Sri Prabhupada explains that the Supreme Lord explains different kind of austerity and penance. First, he explains austerity and penance practiced by the body. One should learn how to offer respect to Krishna, demigods, perfect. The perfect means siddhis, those who are pure devotees, qualified brahmanas, and spiritual master and superiors like father, mother, or any person who is conversant with Vedic knowledge. This should be given proper respect. And besides that, one should remain clean internally and externally. Internal cleaning is chanting Hare Krishna. External cleaning is taking bath at least twice in a day. And then learn to become very simple in behavior. You should not do anything which is not sanctioned in the scripture injunction. One should not overdo it. But one should do it what is in the scriptures. And then one should not indulge in sex outside marriage life. Now that is very important. Because sex sanctioned in the scripture only in marriage, not otherwise it is called celibacy. These are the penance and stories of the body concerned. As far as the speech is concerned, we should be truthful. speak pleasing words, beneficial words, and do not agitate others. And to do that, we have to regularly recite Vedic literatures or read scriptures. And as far as mind is concerned, one should remain satisfied with all Krishna is given, remain a simple life, be grave, control your senses, and purify one's existence. So these are three kind of austerities Krishna mentions to Arjuna. So here, one, Krishna is very, very clever because he's watching you. You cannot do two things at the same time. Enjoy your senses and practice devotional service. Such an austerity is not going to work because it's contradictory. So any devotee who is taking up austerity should do it under the guidance of spiritual master. And remember, the goal is to go back to Krishna. Don't forget that goal. And for that, one has to take up all tribulations. I don't know how many of you remember how Dhruv Maharaj performed his austerities, and can anyone remember or share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
He stood on one foot and his hands up like that,
Mm-hmm.
and he chanted Om Namo Bhagavate
Okay, I'll read for
Vasudevaya.
you how did he perform his austerity. He said, first of all, chant the holy name, number one. Okay? Because it was Satyuga, it was Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then meditate on the Lord. And in the beginning, he says, in the very first 7 nights, you'll see the Siddhas flying in the sky. Generally, you cannot see them. But if you are austere, you can see them. You should make a deity of Lord Krishna and make the offerings as per the scripture. Whatever is available in the forest, you offer it, like pure water, fruit, flowers, vegetable. You see, many of us think that Dhruv only stood on one leg, he did not do anything. No. Early in the morning, you do puja, first thing. And then make a deity, because he did carry a deity of Krishna. Make a deity from earth, means wet earth and water. And then, if you think it is not convenient, you can worship Krishna within the mind. That is acceptable. In the Rupa Goswami's Nectar Devotion, he gives an example of a Brahmin, that a Brahmin, when he heard Krishna Katha from a Bhagavatam reciter, he heard that the Lord can be worshipped in many, many ways. You can make a deity out of wood, out of metal, out of stone, out of sand, out of jewels, paint, or even conceive in the mind, acceptable. That is Rupa Goswami saying. So, same advice is given by Narada. And then meditate on the transcendental activities of the Lord. And in this way, as you get the instructions, now you even say that for the first month, you should only eat wild fruit, whatever fruit is available. Second month, only leaves. Third month, water. And then air. Of course, for us, this is not possible. So don't even try it. So these are the austerities done by Dhruv Maharaj. Now, Dhruv Maharaj, it's not just austerity, it is also with devotional service. So one should not think that Dhruv Maharaj just did only tapa, but he did not do bhakti. No. Bhakti with tapa becomes serious and you can focus. But if you do bhakti without tapa, then you become like a person who's too relaxed. And then you'll become very slow in reaching your destiny. Thus, austerity is a must. That's why in this verse, Krishna tells Brahma that, Brahma is telling Narada that it is tapa. 3 times the word is mentioned, tapa, tapa, tapa. So how does a devotee do tapa? When he gets the order from the Guru or from Krishna. So we have to follow that order and practice. It may be very, very painstaking. Tapa is not easy. There's a lot of pain given to the body. Not a lot, but whatever you can accept and then perform it. So one who follows this principle is sure to attract Lord's mercy. You can get Lord Krishna's mercy if you do tapa. Now, this is a simple layout to explain to us why tapa is so important. So, if you go back to the purport, let me open the purport again. You find that he says 3 times, Srijami tapa, I created by tapa. Who is saying this? Brahma. Grashami tapa, I also withdraw using the same energy of tapa. And again, I maintain by the same tapa. So these are the ways one has to perform to return back home, back to Godhead. Now, let's go to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says that a devotee's life is a life of tapasya. He should voluntarily practice a austere life. Because as you practice austere life, the biggest advantage is you get a sense control. And another thing is the Lord will give you mercy to an extent that you'll be able to tolerate so many difficulties in your life, because devotional path is not very easy. It's very difficult, though slow, steady, and guaranteed you'll go to Krishna or you'll attain Krishna. But the austerity should not be stopped. In our ISKCON, we have many devotees, even I have noticed, who have been following the same program every day early in the morning, coming to Mangalarati, never going fails, chanting the rounds, following the regulatory principles. Years and years have gone by, but they don't stop. So the question may arise that how come they are able to do it? There must be some gain in it. In English, they say, no pain, no gain, which is true. So as you practice, you find that you'll actually enjoy it. In the beginning, it is difficult, but later on, it becomes part of life and it becomes molded in our daily life. So as you practice, you'll enjoy it. And if sometimes, or maybe once in a while, you can't make it, you will not be happy. Maybe due to sickness, or maybe your body was very tired, you may have slept very late at night, or maybe you did not sleep at night. Then you'll find that if you miss your morning program, it becomes very difficult. So Srila Prabhupada wanted all of us to practice this morning program. Whether you're staying in the temple or you're staying at home, it doesn't make any difference. And this tapa will bring you a lot of positive vibes in your life. It brings you so much pleasure. For example, I think all of those who are hearing this class, I'm sure all of you must be fasting for Janmashtami. Janmashtami is right at the corner. I think all of us fast. And you'll find that when you break the fast at night, you feel so good. But another advantage of fasting is, because you have fasted, you remember Krishna more. And I'm also sure that because your stomach is hungry, you feel like eating, you replace it by chanting Hare Krishna. And you chant more. Maybe you don't read more, you may be hearing about Krishna, but you are going to hear more, you're going to chant more, and the joy is a joyous day, you'll enjoy. Now, people who are not devotees, they say, oh, you're giving this pain to your body. No, we are not giving pain to the body. We are increasing the remembrance of the Lord. So that is one sample of tapasya. Imagine if you take vows in this Chaturmasya. All devotees take some voluntary, Wow. Most devotees eat only once in a day. Others who eat 3 times in a day, but very little quantity. Some devotees only eat one item only, like khichdi, that even once in a day, all 4 months. And as Prabhupada recommends that the first month, we don't take leafy vegetables. Second month, we don't take milk. Third month, we don't take, second month, we don't take yogurt. Third month, we don't take milk. And the fourth month, we don't take black lentils, which we call urad dal. So this is already austerity. But don't go to an austerity that you overdo it. Then instead of becoming a devotee, the chances you become a demon. Remember that. It is mentioned already in Bhagavad Gita that those who do tapa in the mode of passion, more than they should do, they become demons, like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, etc. These are the people who overdid it, and they did not become devotees. They became demons. And even Srila Prabhupada says, you do what you, because all of us don't have the same body. Some bodies can do more tapa, some bodies can do less tapa. So what is more important is the tapa, and the ingredient of tapa is to control senses so that our senses can be drawn towards Krishna. So that should be the objective of tapa. And as you do tapa, you will attain the mercy of Krishna. So what is the evidence? The evidence is the Pandavas. The Pandavas, when they went to forest, I don't know, many of you may have read or heard Mahabharata, especially after after losing the match. They went into very difficult times, extremely difficult times. And they would eat very little. In the beginning, there was nothing to eat. They'll eat whatever is got on the forest. And later on, they met Domya. And this Domya Rishi is a sage, started living with them. Yet they lived a very austere life, typical Brahminical life. So by performing of tapa, they had given so much pain to the body, but they got a lot of mercy of Krishna. Krishna never forgot them, and they never forgot Krishna. Even in their forest life, whenever there is those difficulties, they will think of Krishna, and Krishna will come them. So same results we can get if we live austere life and practice our Krishna consciousness nicely, then we can attract mercy of Krishna. Now in our ISKCON, our day-to-day life, we find that to live in ISKCON, to stay with ISKCON, also is an austerity itself. Because we find all kinds of people, all kinds of devotees. And different devotees have different mentalities. And sometimes we can't go along with them, and sometimes we can go along with them. But yet, if we keep staying in ISKCON, that is the biggest austerity. Prabhupada says that ISKCON is my body. Having joined ISKCON, don't give it up. Yes, there will be difficulties. Accept it as tapa and carry on with your day-to-day life and perform your devotional service with a lot of faith, love and faith. This tapa can help you stay in ISKCON. And tapa, one of the ingredients of tapa is tolerance. You build your body, your mind, your intelligence will build up a lot of tolerance that you can go through good times, bad times, difficult times, challenging times, and yet practice your Krishna consciousness. Of course, Krishna consciousness is the most important ingredient. Like Arjuna is told in the second chapter, Matra Sparshasta Kantaya, Sitoshina Sukadukada, Agama Payino Nityastam Titi Shashva Bharata. That this appearance of summer and winter, they come and go, they affect the skin or the outer body, not the soul. So try to learn to tolerate ups and downs, or the dualities of life. The life is full of dualities. And then tapa, this tapa makes it stronger. I'll give you another example, a material example. If you take a piece of iron, you heat it to an extent you can shape it. If you try to shape it without heating it, you can't shape it. If you want to mold the iron in the shape you want to, you have to heat it up. And as you heat it up, you'll get any shape you require. In the similar way, even heating actually is an example of tapa. By performing tapa, you can mold your life the way you want it. Because then you'll become the master of your senses. Instead of remaining a Godas, you'll become a Goswami. And by becoming a Goswami by tapa, then to control senses becomes easy. So if you go to Nectar Instruction, the opening verse says that Manasa Begam, Krodha Begam, Vacho Begam, Manasa Begam, Krodha Begam, Jiva Begam, Udarpashta Begam, Etan Began. All these urges of the body have to be controlled. That is tapa. And one who can do tapa nicely and practice devotional service altogether can become a spiritual master. It's not easy to become a spiritual master. So even Arjuna is explained tapa in many, many ways, especially in the 17th chapter. I just read the text 4, but late 14, and then 15, 16, 17 onwards speaks about different kind of austerities. And as you perform austerities, you become stronger, bolder. And the final result of tapa is you can control your senses the way you want it. You find that we all have difficulties in controlling our senses, but by practicing tapa, you can control your senses. So, for example, the tongue. The tongue is the worst thing, and it needs a lot of tapa. So can anyone of you tell me how to control the tongue? What is the tapasya for tongue? How do we control our tongue?
Chanting?
Chanting the
Yeah.
Hare Krishna mantra and Krishna Prasadam.
Yes, two things. By chanting Hare Krishna, you'll control your voice. You'll find that those who chant their rounds daily, at least for reasonable times, their speech will be different. They'll not speak any nonsense. And they'll speak from the scriptures automatically. Because when you chant, the names become deposited. And your tongue will think twice what to speak, what not to speak. So it's very important that we chant our rounds daily. And when you say eating prasadam, when you eat prasadam, the stomach or the tongue is always demanding food, I think maybe 20 times in a day. But we restrict it to keeping intervals, bring it down to 3 times or 2 times, or in the straight times, maybe once, or on the day of fasting, no meals. In this way, the tongue becomes controlled. And austerity of tongue also means to speak truthful. Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. Satyam bruyat means speak truth. Priyam bruyat, speak sweetly. I think many times, earlier, maybe if you remember, I've given an example of a king. There was a king who was very much lean towards listening to his horoscope. So one day, one Jyotish means a palm reader came there. And he told the Jyotish, okay, look in my palm and see what is there in my life. Upon seeing it, reading very carefully, it was a very learned Jyotish. Jyotish also means an astrologer or a palmist. So he was shaking his head, but he was not speaking. So the king said, "What is wrong? Why are you shaking your hand like this? It seems you are not happy." He says, "Yes, all your sons are going to die before you." And when king heard that, he became very angry. And he put the palmist or the astrologer in the jail. After 6 months, another palmist came there. And he looked at his hand. And after looking at the hand, he said, "Oh, there's something nice in your life." He said, "What is so nice in my life?" He says, "You are going to live much longer than your own sons." And the king was very pleased. So he gave him so many gold coins. And the pandit left. Now the minister was watching all this. He told the king, "Then why did you put the other man in the jail and why did you reward him?" And both told you the same truth. And the king was puzzled. Then the mantri explained, what the first pandit or the astrologer, the Joshi told you is the same what the second one told you. The first one told you the truth, the way it is. The other one told you in a pleasing way. That's all. But the ingredient, the element was the same. And the king realized that yes, he's made a mistake. He at once freed the pandit and also gave him money. I mean, gold coins, and he was set free. So the whole meaning of the story, which is given in the Shastras, is Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat. Even to tell the truth, say it in a pleasing way, that it doesn't hurt anyone. So I might have told this story maybe once or twice, but remember this, very, very important. No, now, Brahma himself is saying that I did this creation following tapa. And whatever happened by tapa. And whatever I didn't want is also by tapa. Sometimes Brahma, during creation, he made some mistakes. Like one of the mistakes, maybe all of you know, is that when he created the first daughter, was very, very beautiful, and it was the first woman in the creation. Brahma actually ran after her. He became sexually attracted. And his own sons told Brahma, "What are you doing?" So Brahma felt ashamed. He had to give up that body. And that body turned into twilight. Twilight means evening, which the demons took it. And the demons, they like to enjoy illicit sex in the evening because they took it. They took evening to be a beautiful woman. So anyway, tapa has many, many effects. But some of the best effects of tapa is you can gain a sense control. So it's a very important topic. You'd find that if you read Bhagavad Gita, or even if you read Bhagavatam, again and again, there is a mention that you control your senses. Bhakti means sense control, but with love and devotion. When senses are controlled and offered in the service of Krishna, that is called Bhakti Yoga. So it's a very important factor in our Krishna conscious life. So I would advise all the devotees, or the way even I have been advised, don't give up your austere life. This is an opportunity to go to Krishna. Don't miss it. Because if you are going to misuse this, you cannot go back home, back to Godhead. For example, in another purport, Sri Prabhupada says that austere life means not to be attracted to sensual pleasures. And then you miss your, what you call, your chance to go back home, back to Godhead. Going back home, back to Godhead is not easy. This cycle of birth and death is also called samsara. Samsara means janma mrityu jara vyadhi. And Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi means again and again. So to cross this ocean, you have to cross over the ocean, not fall in the ocean. And who can cross the ocean? We are not Hanuman. Hanuman could cross the ocean simply by jumping. He jumped from the Mahendra Parvat, a mountain called Mahendra, and he jumped and went right up to Lanka. He could do it. Why? Because he had the grace of Lord Ramachandra, not otherwise. But we still need that grace, and we are nothing in front of Hanuman. We are very tiny. And Hanuman also lived a very austere life. Remember that. He remained brahmachari, which is the biggest austerity, and he underwent a lot of tribulations just for the pleasure of Lord Ramachandra. Same way, if you hear the story of Bhishma, originally is Devrata, but he took vows not to marry, to remain celibate, and never to sit on the throne of Hastinapura. Now these are very austere vows. And in exchange, what did he get? He got the blessing of his own father, Shantanu. Shantanu promised him, or gave him a benediction that you will not die. You will only die the day you choose to die. Icha mrityu. The day you choose to die, you'll die. Now, can anyone of us have that kind of a benediction? No, we don't have. But Bhishma had it. So we can't imitate Bhishma, but we can always pray to Bhishma, because Bhishma is one of the 12 Mahajans. And by studying the life of Bhishma, the way he lived, the way he left his body, the day he decided to give the body, all that has to be learned from Bhishma. And Bhishma is one of the first characters mentioned after Kunti in the Bhagavatam. Kunti is the first one to offer prayers. Sorry, first prayer is offered by Arjuna when he wanted to use Brahmastra. The second prayer is offered is Kunti. And the third prayer is offered is what you call Bhishma. So all these characters, if you study, they have one thing in common. Number one, they are all devotees of Krishna. And number two, they all had a very strong sense of control. And they were very truthful, very honest people. So as you read Bhagavatam, you learn about them. And then, what do you call, upon getting realization from them, we mold our Krishna conscious life. Though we are born in Kali Yuga, we are samples of Kali Yuga personalities. But as you hear about them, Krishna and Krishna's devotees, then our life changes, because we can learn a lot from them. So I end the class here. Hare Krishna. Any questions, any comments? Anybody likes to add something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for this session today. We open it up to questions and comments. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Can I pronounce? Thank you, Mataji, for allowing me to ask a question. I didn't raise my hand, but continue. Prabhu, I wanted to ask if we see Maharaj Shantanu gave Bhishma Dev the boon to that he may die whenever he pleases or he chooses.
We choose, yeah.
But is this not a benediction? Like, let's say if Bhishma Dev decided to be immortal, would it have been possible for him? Like if he didn't want to die? And
No, he did not.
this be,
He did not.
yes.
Let me correct you. He did not want to be mortal. No, he didn't want to do that. I mean, sorry, immortal. He didn't want
Yes.
to remain immortal. But he took this vow. The whole story is like this. There's a meaning, the situation he went to, that his father, Shantanu, wanted to marry Satyavati. And Satyavati's father or the so-called father, the fisherman, he kept a condition that if Shantanu wants to marry Satyavati, then it is only her sons who will sit on the throne of Hastinapur. And Bhishma said, okay, let her sons, because already he was chosen to be sitting on Hastinapur's asan. Then the fisherman was a bit tricky and clever, cunning. He said, but what happens if you marry and you get children and your children want to sit there? Vishnu said, I'll never marry. So these two vows made Vishnu very special. So that is the situation. Now, when you said that he wanted to remain immortal, no, that was not his idea. His whole idea was to protect the throne of Hastinapur. That's why he took up these vows, and to please his father, Shantanu, because when Shantanu heard or heard the vow taken by Bhishma, he was so pleased. And since it was Dwapar Yuga, when someone gave a benediction, they happened or they worked, not like Kali Yuga. People can't give benedictions in Kali Yuga. Because majority people in Kali Yuga are liars, not truthful. Is that okay, Krishnatma?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. But
Right.
what I'm trying to get clarity on, Prabhu, is if did Maharaj Shantanu have the power to give the benediction that Bhishma Dev could die whenever he chooses? Like we see, the example is when Hiranyakashipu went to Lord Brahma, he got the benediction. He couldn't get the benediction of dying
Yes,
whenever he chose. Yeah.
you're right. Yes.
Yes. So I was just wondering,
Both
will
Raman and Hiranyakashipu wanted to become immortal, but they were not granted
okay.
because they performed the austerities in a demonic way, in the mode of passion. You read Bhagavad Gita, you read austerity in the mode of passion, is to give pain to the body, overdo it. Such kind of penance or austerity will lead you to become a demon. Whereas Bhishma's austere vows was not to give, he did not overdo it, but he rather did it in a very noble way. That is the difference. And he lived very long. He could have still lived, but he had promised that the day I see the throne of Hastinapur very much secure, I'll give up my body. He himself has said like that.
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
he gave a body when he saw, when he realized that Yudhishthira has now become the king, he became ready to give up his body. Okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. So,
Well,
Prabhuji, in the terms of austerity now, it takes me to the Jains who follow real austerity. I mean, they walk barefoot, they don't eat for long periods of time, and they don't eat this, that, and the other. So, Prabhuji, is that extreme austerity in this day and world?
yes, because many austerities are not as per the scriptures. They go to an extreme, we can say to an extreme extent that they spoil their body. And many Jains, if you don't know, they develop some bodily diseases because of penance. You'll heard many of them. And it's not, what do you call, scriptures is not allowing that. Scriptures give you a margin, so don't jump the margin. You don't go beyond the maryada of what do you call, tapasya. Otherwise, you can create pain in your body. You can spoil some organ of your body and suffer for the rest of the life. At the same time, the tapa is meant to please Krishna, not to increase your ego or your pride. It should be to please Krishna. That's where they go wrong. Even we do tapa, but not to that extent. Yes, tapasya is good. I gave you the reason in the class almost 3 times. That we do tapa so that we have a better sense control, not for any other reason. Okay? You can read that section in the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Verse number 14, 15, 16. I think you can read them and you can get the exact answer. Austerity, the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. So here to do austerity in the mode of goodness, which I already read for you. All right? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any more questions or comments? If there are no more questions or comments, I'll invite Partha Prabhu. Prabhu, are you able to end the session for today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, but in the Bhagavad Gita also talking about a yogi is supposed to be not doing too much austerity, not less austerity, like all the tapasya, benediction, supposed to be limit. Not eating too much, not less also, not sleeping too much, also not less also sleeping. It means required. So how can, if he is doing it like this, then he is in a comfortable way, then how he become austerity?
No, yoga is not in a comfortable way. Ahar, what do you call? You eat controlled food. It's not that you don't eat, but you eat, but controlled. Everything controlled. Even we devotees are also yogis, remember that. And we have to follow the same rule. Even Prabhupada says, it's not that you don't eat. You eat, but you eat what is required. You eat the right food. You also, what do you call, sleep. It's not that you don't sleep, because the body does need rest. So it's not that they live a comfortable life. No. They are doing this to keep up the yoga. And we are also doing that to keep up our Krishna consciousness. For example, if I tell you, Path Prabhu, don't eat for 3 days, I'm sure on the 4th day you will not be able to chant.
Yes.
Can you do it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not possible.
Okay. Yeah.
So you don't go to an extreme. Yeah. And elsewhere in one lecture, Prabhupada says, if you can't do it, don't do it. If you can't do it, don't do it. You do what you can. It's not a must.
Oh.
It's not the tapa which is important. It is Krishna conscious which is important. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Right. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, His Grace Rukma Prabhuji, for your nice and wonderful class. Always your class is very nice and informative. Also, thanks all the devotees who are assembling here in this Bhagavatam reading forum. I request everyone, please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna mantra for glorification of His Grace Rukma Prabhuji. Please join. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama Hare Hare.
Kripa Sindhu Deva Vaishnavi
Thakur ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
Rukma Prabhuji, Jai.
Jai.
Krishna.